everybody, and welcome to another episode of Build Paint Play. I'm Dave.
And I'm Jake.
And we're here to talk about the Mechanicum. I even wore the t-shirt. How about that?
I built a bunch of giant robots, and all I got was this stupid t-shirt.
Fantastic. I was going to say, I lit a whole bunch of candles, and all I got was this stupid t-shirt.
So also good, also good.
It's the same thing, really, isn't it?
It is.
Yep. Excellent. So Scott is here. Hey, Scott. Good to see you.
What's going on, Scott?
Nice. But yeah, how you been? How has your week been? What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
I'm good. It's been hectic this week. I've had a lot going on. My wife was sick with COVID all week, so I've been like running around trying to keep her situated, make sure everything is good. Yeah, keeping her hydrated. And she's a workaholic, so she just like doesn't stop. And I was like, you can't go into work. You have to take it easy.
Yeah.
But no, that was most of the week, and then a lot of like moving stuff around. We settled on some more furniture, so we'll have more stuff in the house. I picked up another commission, and I did a little bit of writing this week. I started working on a short story for a anthology that's coming out.
Okay.
But that's relatively new. I'm just starting on that. So
Nice.
how about you? What's new with you?
I have been spending most of my time, and by most of my time I mean most of it, working on the final stages for the Art of books. So I finally, after last week's show, I think I finally got you the PDFs for Volume 4.
You do.
So,
I had it. I cracked it open the other day and started looking through it. I didn't get a ton done, but I kind of skimmed it and was like, okay, I can come back and I can do this.
Cool. Excellent. So I got that. Yeah, like today, one of the things that I have to do, so for a little bit of behind the scenes talk about making a book. So photographs that are typically taken like on a phone or a digital camera are RGB. So red, green, blue. So they're taken as light. And those three colors are put together to make all the colors. Printing is done in CMYK, so cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So you have to switch the color profile of the picture from RGB to CMYK.
Yep.
And we've got to do that with all of the photos in a book that's going to print. Additionally, many digital formats will shoot it in 72 DPI, dots per inch, pixels per inch, but usually pretty big. Like I think the iPhone or some of the other phones can be getting up around the like 6,000 by 4,000 pixels.
Sure.
So at 72 DPI, that's like massive. It's like 60 inches, 70 inches kind of thing. But printing is done at 300 DPI. So you have to switch that profile as well. So yeah, going from 72 DPI to 300 DPI and then making sure that the size is still the same and you haven't just like blown up the size of each pixel by 4 or anything like that. So there's a lot of processing to go through.
Is it easier to do it all digitally, or is it easier to try to do it like old school analog setup and then have them just like duplicated?
Have them scanned at something? No.
Yeah,
It's much easier to do it all digitally, for sure,
Okay.
without a doubt. Yeah, because you can get somebody can fire off like 5 or 6 photos of that same or slightly different angle of a model, rather than doing it with film. It's like get it perfectly right. But I mean, the quality of like even phone cameras now is pretty amazing. So Tommy, for his book, the bulk of his images are all from his phone, and they're all huge. They're perfectly sized, and just got to go through and make sure they're all the right size now for the book. And there are over 500 photos in that book. So processing. It's been great.
Nice.
So yeah, lots and lots of fun there. And working on Saini's book, so we're down to the final stages there as well. So volume 6. Tommy sent me his final text today. Saini, I got a call with him tomorrow, I think, and we'll be going through and working out when the final text comes in for that. So my brain has been totally focused on that. But painting wise, I finished painting my Gal Warback, my Possessed.
Yeah, I saw the photos. They look
Possessed
great.
Gal Warback. So that was a lot of fun getting those done, and my Moritat
Ah, very nice.
with its Warpfire skulls.
That's one of my favorite models.
Okay,
I
Warpfire
love
pistols. Yeah, it's pretty neat. The cool thing as well is that I still have the his 2 little dudes. So the sensor bearer and the his book bearer. Oh no, sorry, I'm talking about a different character. This guy.
Look out! Your guy is on making a run for it.
Yeah, it was funny to see him moving away. But yeah, I finished up the Dark Apostle as well.
That guy looks great.
So I'm using him as my Diabolist for the work.
Nice.
But because I have those other 2 models,
that's a great model.
It is cool. Yeah. Because I have the other 2 models still, I can paint them up, and I'll be able to use this army for 40k as well.
I converted, or I'm in the process of converting that. What's his name? The
Master of Possession.
Master of Possession. So I have him, and I think he would make a great chaplain. So I'm in the process of converting him into a chaplain. So because he has the skull helmet, literally all I had to do was I used my razor and I shaved off the Chaos Star on his knee.
Yep.
And then I changed his Crozius, and I was like, and I got rid of the backpack. I gave him a jump pack. Right. But I was like, man, that model looks great as a chaplain.
Yep. Yep. I gave him a jump pack as well.
Yeah, he's a super cool model.
But yeah, so I've been doing that sort of on the side to give my brain a little bit of a break from processing hundreds and hundreds of images. But it's been fun. Yay!
You did an awesome job with the Warpfire green is like a spot color for them. Is super cool.
Yeah, it does work. Does work really well. That's using so it's white, then some thin down bright yellow green from Peracral.
Okay.
And
for those of you at home that don't have bright green from Peracral, you could use the Tesseract Glow from Games Workshop.
Possibly. Well, the Tesseract it's more of a wash, isn't it?
So it's supposed to be a shade technically.
Okay.
But if you added like Lamian medium, you could use it because you're just toning the white is all you're doing. So.
Well, but I'm working up, so the white is at the center.
Yeah.
And the yellow, the yellowish green, and that sort of thing is on the outsides. But yeah, then working up to the green. But basically, you could use moot green, or what's the other one that matches this? It was pretty close to this one. I can't remember it.
Wogflesh? No. It's the more green one.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'd have to look at GW's website. I don't.
Anyway, but yeah, the I had one floating around here, but yeah, so I've been using those, but it does work really well. It's a great spot color, and on my Warpfire blasters as well.
Nice.
Use it on that. So many models just laying around. Just push them to the side. But yeah,
I'll work on these later.
I'm working on Lorgar at the moment. So
he's the worst.
He is the worst. He's a lot of fun to paint though.
I mean, technically Erebus is the worst, but then Lorgar is like right there.
I gotta tell you, like, I got Erebus sitting up here, and I got a feeling that he's gonna be the last one that I paint, like by far.
Yeah.
We'll come back in like 2 years' time, and somebody will say, "Oh, how's Erebus going?" And I'll be like, "Oh, he's still up there."
I do love that even like in the books, I love that even like the traders, they all hate Erebus.
Oh,
like everybody hates Erebus.
Yeah. He's a dick.
Yeah, he's the worst.
He is
like,
the worst.
Horus hates him. all of the Luna Wolves hate him, and like everybody hates him.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. But anyway, so he'll probably be the last one painted. Him or Cor Ferron. I'm not sure which one, but they're both up there. So yeah, I've got Zardu Lyak to paint up as well, seeing as how I've got his Blade Slaves done. Blade Slaves. It's fantastic. I know.
It's the best.
We should say hi. So we said hi to Scott already. Hi Jeff. Hi Josh. Hi Phil. Yes. Scott says it's the start of October.
It is.
I'm sorry, I have no orcs.
We could do that next time, I guess, but
I don't think
do I own any orcs? I think I own Boss Snickrod. I think that's the only orc I own.
Yeah. I have an orc that I have to finish painting by the end of the month.
Okay.
An orc, Kronspire Incarnate, and two endless spells that I'm painting up for commission. So.
Oh, is the Kronspire? Is that the big like demony looking thing?
It's the whirling. It's like the skull and the spine that's swirling around. Right. Yeah. I don't think it's technically a spell. It's more like a terrain piece or a.
Yeah, I think that's right.
A crazy thing. Anyway, but yeah, I've got to paint that up. But there's an orc that I have to paint up alongside that to go with this big orc army. But Josh has lots of work in progress orc stuff. Cool. Now,
sweet.
So this is the month you'll need to finish it all.
That's right.
So we probably should have an October.
We can do an October show.
Yeah, we can do that. Show. Excellent. And Phil says, "Evening all. Freaking love that Dread Knight conversion. Thank you very much. I think we'll be talking about it later in the show."
Yeah, that thing is awesome.
It is pretty sweet. It was a lot of fun to work on for sure. It's almost 10 years old.
It is dope. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's fun. I had to remove the baby carrier kind of look and just give it a solid enclosed kind of feel.
The baby carrier thing is probably my least favorite part about that model. Like, I love the whole idea of it.
Yep.
But I was like, you guys didn't think to like, I don't know, build a crew compartment? Like,
yeah. You
built a giant metal walking robot suit. And then it was like after they were done, they're like, where am I supposed to sit? And they're like, we'll just weld a seatbelt to the front of it.
Stand in the front of it. Yes.
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, I get it. Lore-wise, he's wearing Terminator armor, which is ostensibly the most difficult armor to penetrate in the Imperium. But also, he could just be wearing power armor. You could put him inside it.
Yep.
Like every other walker. It's just, yeah.
It's the fun part. It's a glorious thing about that human desire to make mechs that you stand in that are human shaped, when in a lot of situations many other things would be much better. I'm gonna segue just quickly. My biggest pet peeve, believe it or not, this is the biggest one that I have with it, is with I think like the second Matrix film. No, probably not the biggest one with the second, but it's either the second or the third. Whenever the robots break through to Zion.
Yeah, they have their ape suits.
They got their suits out there where you can just wave it wherever you like and you can fire wherever you like. It doesn't. You just spray the bullets everywhere, and you're that central target that could be like torn apart. Or we do know that they had turret technology.
Yep.
So they were able to create turrets that tracked and like hit perfectly and didn't have a human inside them.
Yep.
But instead, they put not all their resources, but like 90% of the resources into building the big suits with the human exposed in the middle.
Yep.
Spraying everywhere.
I'll do you one better. My favorite is the regular humans wearing T-shirts, having to bring ammo out on like wheel dollies.
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Yeah, that whole thing is just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he said, the Pacific Rim thing. Like, I get it. The whole idea is it's like cerebrally wired into you and it's responding to your movements. Sure, the cockpit of Pacific Rim is probably the closest thing. But at least they're inside the mech. They're not like strapped to the front of it, fighting giant monsters.
They're behind the 12 inches of armor, not in front
which
of
makes much more sense. Much more sense.
it. But anyway, we're just being silly. So yeah, we've got that going on. Should we have a quick run through of some?
Yeah, let's do some catch ups. What do we got?
Key things,
some updates.
Some key updates. So first up, of course, everyone's seen this image already. Tremendous Tome of Epic Dungeons. I was telling Jake earlier. We have set up the Kickstarter campaign page. It's going to be going live October 25th. But we have the Notify Me button is ready to go. So there is a link down below in the show notes. You can click on that and go and click on the Notify Me at Launch button.
And you will be notified.
You are notified. As if me telling you every week isn't going to help.
Right.
But,
well, people who aren't here,
who aren't watching every week, for sure. But yeah, that would be super helpful for us as well. It gives us a good idea of who might be interested in the Tremendous Tome of Epic Dungeons. And I should have a good post up on Dave Taylor Miniatures' Facebook page tomorrow about that. Next up is... Jake will recognize this photo.
I will.
You will, because this is one that you took apparently and sent to the Adepticon folks. The Fort Wappel photo. So Fort Wappel T-shirt. So we've mentioned this before. Jake's talked about it a couple of times. So Jake's been working with the guys who are making this. And for those of you who are watching who don't know, Kathy Wappel and Jim Wappel,
Friends of the show.
Pardon?
Friends of the show.
Friends of the show for sure, and they're also integral parts of Adepticon. They run Fort Wappel at the event, basically the huge sort of free for all painting area. Where everybody can come along, sit down, do some painting, do some chatting, catch up with friends, all sorts of stuff. Earlier this year, Kathy was diagnosed with cancer, and this is just a little thing that that Adepticon and Jake done to raise some money to help out Kathy and Jim with some of their expenses. So you can, again, go to the link below, click on that, and place an order for T-shirts.
Yeah, there are some left. I know we sold through a bunch. Yep. They'll probably be getting them this week, and then I know the Adepticon guys are shipping everything out this weekend. So if you order one, you'll probably get it next week. Yep. Yeah, Tim. So the guys at Adepticon are basically handling like kind of the back end stuff, and then Tim Toolin, who's another buddy of ours, like did the illustration.
Yep.
And then he and I talked and we put it together, and then my other company basically we did all this for them, and we're all working it's fully charity based, so like all the money that we raise is all going to them, like we're not taking anything. But it was super fun to do this, and it was an honor to be asked to kind of try to help out. So I was happy to do it. So
yep, super cool. No, I'm excited to get mine. As you said, I'm hoping next week.
Yep. I mean, assuming they get everything out this weekend, yeah, hopefully next week.
As Josh said, yeah, super nice folks, without a doubt.
Yep, for sure.
So next up, over the weekend was the Golden Demon event. Golden Demon UK. So it was held at Warhammer World, and there were loads of entries, and apparently the quality of entries there was just amazing, absolutely like mind-blowing. All of the entries, you can head to the Warhammer community website, check out all of the entries there. They're all absolutely amazing, and one of the things that tells you they were really amazing is that there are a lot of people whose names you don't see who would usually be in there with a statue or two.
Yeah.
But Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. This was Dual Gold by Chris Clayton. It was also the Slayer Sword winner. So this is one of the Mega Gargants from Age of Sigmar with the Dark Elf Hydra. Has been extensively reposed, but absolutely amazing.
I'm looking at it right now, blow up on my page. Dude.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it?
It's just crazy. Like, I can hear the water crashing around his feet. Like, it is.
It is absolutely amazing. Phil said the water effects on the bases are incredible. No idea how Chris got the waves to look so realistic. I'm not 100% sure either, but Cult of Paint. So Andy Wardle did an interview with Chris Clayton like Sunday afternoon after the show. And I think you can probably find that on their Instagram page. There's a video on there. Either there or actually on their YouTube channel, Cult of Paint. And it's a great interview. Chris painted this in 2021 when there was no sort of Golden Demon announced or anything like that. He was just doing this for the fun of it, to put it on his shelf and be able to look at it. But one of the things that he said, like, so after he'd converted the giant and he had all the bits and pieces ready to go, he painted the feet and the legs and the base. And then he poured the resin.
That I was just thinking that. I was like, that would be terrifying, because you're like,
yeah.
you're like, is this gonna work? Is the resin gonna come out clear enough? Like,
yep, yeah,
that's oh god,
it is insane. But yeah, he did it so that he would know that the resin had worked, and he wouldn't have wasted all of those hours. Obviously, the resin did work, and then he was able to jump in and paint the rest of it.
It's incredible.
We're talking about the shapes, the wave shapes, and that kind of thing, or just the water shapes. Obviously, when you pour resin, it wants to settle flat, or maybe give a little bit of a meniscus at the edge where it runs up against something. I saw some great suggestions that he might have actually taken to it with a like a Dremel to grind out some of those hollows, which is completely possible. Or he may have built it up in layers with like UV curing resin and then sort of polished it back. But however he went about it, it's like super cool.
It is daunting. Like I was telling you, like, whenever I see a paint job like this where I'm like, I have no idea how somebody did that. I genuinely have no idea. And it is such, like, he kind of shows off every discipline, right? Like, he shows off basing. His base work is incredible. Like, even like the ground, the sand, the light effect, all that stuff looks phenomenal. He even did like striations on the stone to the right of the giant's heel. So it looked like sunlight playing through the water. Like, so his like light effect, dappling, all that stuff is amazing.
Yep.
Then he did the resin effect. I've never seen resin look this good. It is crystal clear. And like you were saying, it's so irregular on the top, it looks like real water. Like, like, I can hear the waves crashing and stuff splashing around. He's at water effect pouring off the Hydra. He's at water effect pouring off the poor guy in the net on his hip.
Yep.
Dumping back into the water. And he's got the white foam of like the seawater dumping back in. And to your point, like you said, it's clear enough that you can see the base work and the feet that he spent all that time doing first.
Yep.
And then the paint job on top of that is a spectacular paint job. Like, the whole model is phenomenal. Like, it's crazy. It's unfair, the skill set.
It's like, not. He's been entering Golden Demon for 35 years, so he's put in the time he's built up these skills for sure. But yeah, you were saying as well that that he knew that. So as we're looking at it here, you can see that like the size of the feet that foot seems enlarged because of the way the resin is impacting the prism effect there.
Yep.
And he said he knew that was going to happen, so he had to put extra sort of detail and care into the foot because he knew that it was just going to be
Yeah.
magnified.
Like you can see all the striations around his ankle and like the
Yep.
buildup of like callus along his heel. Like, yeah,
Yep.
it's absurd. Like
is.
it's so well done.
Yep, absolutely. Scott says the details are amazing. Check out the matching tattoos on the giant and the dead guy on his back, which is awesome. It's like a jewel from a Harryhausen film. It absolutely is. Yep, you can just imagine it like coming to life in that stop motion effect.
Yeah. Oh God,
Got
it's
to feel.
amazing.
But it looks fantastic. Phil says Dremel plus polishing would work, I guess. Yeah, I think it's one way to go about it. But I mean, another way is to have it in a mold and sort of inject the resin in, so you have that top part already sculpted. You know what those wave shapes are going to be.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a possibility. But that seems a lot more difficult to get right.
I mean, the other thing he could have done is he could have after he had like the sort of the circle, he could have poured it in layers and just kept tipping it and done each kind of wave crest on his own, and then added more bits and like moved it around, and that way you'd get all those irregular kind of formations. I think if you dremeled it and polished it, I don't think you'd be able to get rid of the scuff marks that make it fully opaque again like it is now.
I think you could, yeah. You'd be able to do that. Yeah, definitely. It is kind of amazing, like the way that so obviously with like really fine grit, like wet and dry sandpaper and super fine grit, wet and dry, like 3,000 grit or whatever, you can get right down there. But also, if you put a layer of gloss varnish over it, it fills in any of those scuff marks immediately, and you don't have that. You don't see them.
It's almost better that I don't know. This is incredible. I'm never going to attempt it. Like, it looks ridiculous.
Yep. Fantastic. There was a bit actually that I just read in that Tommy just sent me through for his book, and he was talking about developing two eyes. So when you're looking at models, not just like this eye and this eye, but and he likened it to going to a magic show.
Yep.
So you can go to a magic show and be amazed and excited by the illusion and the showmanship of the magic show.
Right.
Or you can also go to the show and go, oh, I wonder how that was done. Let's run that back. Let me have a look at that again. Oh, see, that's the point where he distracted everybody and then just pocketed the thing.
Right.
So knowing how it's done, and it's developing the ability to appreciate both at the same time and get the most out of it. Because most people would just either analyze or are like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, being able to get both out of it at the same time is pretty amazing. But yeah. Oh,
that's crazy.
Hey, Chris Walker. Glad you could make it. Scott, he used to post back on the Simon forums as Gigantic Dark. I don't know. Possibly. Yeah, I must admit I hadn't really heard much about him. I'm sure I've seen a lot of his models from ogling Golden Demon winners. But yeah, I thought it was absolutely cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It is. So yeah, that were the things. So they had that event. It looks like it was super cool, and a lot of people had a lot of fun. And I was super jealous that I was not there. I never planned to go, but watching everything online, it was like, oh man, I wish I'd been there.
Did you see Darren Latham got a bronze in the open competition?
Yeah. How about that? It's pretty amazing.
Way to go, Darren.
Yep. So Tom Hughes got gold.
Yeah. Oh my god.
In the other competition with a so Tom Hughes is on the miniature sculpting team with Darren. But yeah, sculpted that Tau bust. I think it's like 1/4 size. Yeah, so that's pretty big and beefy. But
yeah, he's good. Yeah, I really like the small scale silver winner is really cool too. That's it's a Thunderbolt fighter parked.
Yeah.
And it has its canopy open.
Yeah.
So he must have like cut that out and like it's pretty impressive. I was like, that's like the Aeronautica scale. So
yeah, that's some great stuff. But we might talk about the rest of those next week.
Sure.
We have to decide. Before the show, Jake and I were having quite a spirited discussion about Golden Demon at Adepticon. So I think it could be fun for us to talk about that. Talk about competition painting and that kind of thing. What to look for or what to expect. But I will say, watching the I think I saw a quick video from the Cult of Paint guys like Andy Wardle on Friday, and he was like, come over here and check this out. That's the sword winner, and he pointed at Chris's work. So he picked it before everything was in the case, so it was kind of pretty cool. But anyway, just quickly, Chris is in the chat. Last games day I worked, I was the golden booth, and I broke somebody's entry. It went on to win a bronze. Oh my goodness, was that a Bretonian night? Let's find out. I think you must have meant to say I was at the Golden Demon booth.
That's happened a couple of times.
Yeah. Okay. The Bretonian Night one was where it was dropped on the concrete floor of Baltimore Convention Center and broke into several parts, and we had to bring the person back over, and they repaired it. And they were nice. They didn't yell at any of us. It was really good.
So I don't remember if it was. It might have been Crystal Brush. Somebody had an entry, and they took the entries out to do the judging.
Yep.
And they were basically done with the judging, and somebody went to put it back in the case and like clipped it on the door and dropped it. So I think they tried to contact the person, and the person came down, and they like obviously they were like really upset, but they put it back together.
Yeah.
So then they ended up going on to win. I don't think they won overall, but they placed one of the categories and they won one of the trophies. So then they had all of them out to do photography at the end to be like, here's all the winners. And then somebody dropped it again.
Oh Jesus.
And I was like, oh my God, I would have been at that point, if I'm that person, I'd be like, you know what, just you can keep it. I don't want it back.
Oh, that would be terrible. Absolutely terrible. But
all right, so what else we got?
Should we move on to now everything else we got is all about Mechanicum and Mechanicus.
That's the Mechanicus show. We got to do Mechanicus
show. Exactly. So I'm just going to switch us back to you and me. The big screen there. Yay!
Okay.
So I finally took the time to look through this. Oh, you cracked the wrapper off yours as well?
I did. So Jeff Smith says, Jeremy borrowed his Bretonian army for Games Day and then dropped it off the back of the forklift for Games Day. So I repaired it, and then after Games Day, they did it again. Oh my God, dude.
Oh, man. Was that the last... Jeff, was that the last time that you lent anybody a Bretonian army? Oh, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, I will say the old GW pistol cases, the old pistol case army cases, those were such an easy sell because it's a good product, but I remember one day going to Games Day, the Bits wagon had taken a bunch of they were using the Bits wagon to ferry stuff back and forth for the show.
Yep. And
they had it was oh God, what was that? 2000. It was early 2000. I don't remember what year. But it was like the mega battle was going to be like bugs versus like guardsmen or space marines or something.
Right.
So they had like 1 million gene stealers that they had painted.
Yep.
So we had like case upon case upon case upon case of gene stealers. So the Bits wagon was going on the highway, and apparently the side door was open. And when they went around the corner, they hit a bump, and like the side doors popped open, and like 3 of the figure cases like popped out on the highway and went spinning down. And one like whipped off the highway, one like bounced like 3 or 4 times, and then bounced up in the air, went off another car and off, and then the other one like skidded to a stop on the highway. And the guys pulled over, and they went back. And I remember talking to one of them. I forget who it was. Was it Joe? It might have been Joe Neat or somebody. Yep. And they were like, Oh, dude, I thought they were all going to be in a million pieces. I thought we were going to be like being like, well, we lost a case of Gene Stealers. He's like, we picked them all up, and like the cases were all scuffed up and all like mangled, and like I think he said that they didn't break any of the Gene Stealers. I was like, that's pretty good.
Yep. Yep. There was one time when I wanted to sell how strong they were, and I put some miniatures from the cabinet into the case, closed it up, and then
Stood on it?
no, I punted it across the store.
Okay.
So I just drop kicked it, and then when I walked over, picked it up, opened it up, everything was just fine. And the people were like, "We'll take 2." But yes. Anyway, moving right along.
Yeah, this book is insane.
It is super cool. It's a sort of a lovely, fun addition, and I think it's going to be interesting to see if they actually release any of the units in plastic.
I think that they kind of have to, because Games Workshop has made it very apparent that, like, I mean, this is not a Forge World game, like, so I think that you're going to see that as they move forward, they're going to start releasing more and more stuff for these armies.
Yeah.
And they've already talked about it. So, I don't know what they're going to release. Like, I would be thrilled if they release like the Ursus mechs, or the what's the big one? The big one with the siege.
Oh, the Thanatar.
The Thanatar, yeah, like I love that model. It's like one of my favorite looking kits they've ever made. The what are they? The same dudes that the Domitar Battle Automata. The Domitars look super cool. They're like tall, skinny dreadnoughts, basically, like old school dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
But like those ones are neat. I don't think they're gonna release any of the Titans in plastic. That's not gonna happen. No. I mean, not unless you want to play Titanicus. But I do like that in this book there was all this talk at first that they weren't going to do anything bigger than Knights.
Right.
Like there was all this buzz like before this book came out that it's just Mechanicus stuff. It's Mechanicus stuff and Knight houses. They're not doing the Titan Legions. And I was like, you can't not do the Titan Legions. Like you have to. So they redid it, and people were like, well, there's no way to play them, and like they'd be so unplayable, and like it's unbalanced and all this stuff. So they have them in here, but I mean, it's going to be bonkers to try to run against Titans.
It always has been, and they're a you always got to think of them as a special event, really.
Yeah,
I think. Where are the?
They're on page. They have their own section. I think it's page. It's like 122, I think.
Okay. Yep. So right at the back, all back of the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that it? Nope. That's where all the weapons are. I must have skipped past them. I guess it is only like 4 or 5 pages for the three Titans.
It's page. Nope. It's like it starts on page 60, I think.
That's nowhere near 122, my friend.
Yeah, sorry, it's 64. 64 is Divisio Tactica. They talk about the Titan Ages. They have a whole special rule because normally when you play now, for every 1,000 points of game, you can have it's 200 and some odd points of like Lords of War.
Right. Yeah.
So theoretically, you're like, well, how would I ever have a warlord? Like we'd have to be playing like a 7,000 point game or a 10,000 point game, and I could run one. So they have their own specific rule. If you run the Divisio Tactica Titan Legions, their detachment is 1 Lord of War choice mandatory and 1 troops choice mandatory, and that's it. And then your optionals are up to 2 HQs, up to 5 more troops, and up to 2 more Lords of War.
Yeah.
But like I was talking to our rep at GW the other day, and I was like, how hilarious would it be like you run a unit of like Sekitari for 130 points, and then you take like a Reaver for 1,500 points, and you're like, okay, cool, here's my 2,000 point list. I'm ready to go.
I think it'd be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
All the weapon upgrades are free on all the Titans. Like it doesn't matter whether you're taking because you got all 4 of them. So you've got a Warhound is 750, Reaver is 1,500. A Warbringer Nemesis Titan is 2K, and the Warlord Battle Titan is 3K.
3K, yeah.
Like the default loadout is it has 2 Quake. It's just like the model looks. It has 2 Quake cannons, 2 Carapace mounted Apocalypse missile launchers, 2 hull mounted Defensor bolt cannons. Who cares? And a rear mounted Defensor last cannon. And you can swap everything out. So like you can get the Ariok Power Claw, the Vulcan Mega Bolter, the Volcano Cannons, the Macro Gatling Blaster, the Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator, and you can swap out the Carapace weapons for laser blasters.
Yep.
Nice. It's just going to be gross. Like, they are insane. But yeah, I think it'd be really fun to be like, okay, so you can run, you take, 3,200 points.
Yep.
So you run a unit of Secretary and a Warlord. And I'm going to take 3,000. I'm going to take 3,200 points of, Marines.
Yeah. Well, you could squeeze in, you could probably squeeze in 3 units of Secretary. So 30 infantry.
3,200, yeah, you could probably, you might be able to do
2,000. But yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That would be good.
So but, Scott said, I'm really not a 40k player, but did Apocalypse just suck? Wouldn't that be for Titan fighting? So, Apocalypse basically allowed you to do, like, it's effectively unlimited points. Normal 40k kind of plateaus out at, like, 2,000, 2,500, 3K. It starts getting a little hairy because then you start getting into like, I have to run multiple force organizations in order to run more stuff than this.
Yeah.
Apocalypse was like, hey, you can do whatever you want. Like you can, force orgs don't matter. You can run extra stuff. Like a lot of the limitations are removed. And it was so you could do like mega battles. So like we used to do them at our store. We would basically take all of our tables and they're all lined up. And be like, okay, so if you're on this side of the tables, you're on this army, and if you're on that side of the tables, you're on that army. And then it's basically like it's just the two sides fighting. So it's crazy. You can have like all kinds of stuff stomping around. It's a good time.
Yeah. It's very I think it's very weird. Much event based. Yeah.
Yeah. And Apocalypse is very much like not traditional.
No.
So there's a lot of other weird rules like the Apocalypse blast templates and all that stuff. And
yeah. The other thing as well to think about, Scott, is there was the original Apocalypse release in like 2007, 2008, which was the way that they dealt with it there was they took the 40k rules and they adjusted them slightly and they created larger formations that you could work with so you could more easily put in more big stuff. The Apocalypse release from 2018, I think 2017, right? 2018. I think that was a like considerably different system. The way that you shot the number of dice that you rolled, all that sort of thing. It was a different system, so it wasn't big 40k in the gaming sense.
Right.
It was 40k, big 40k in the spectacle sense, but yeah, it was a different system to be able to deal with all sorts of stuff, whatever you wanted to bring along, really, as Jake said.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's kind of a kitchen. It's kind of like a kitchen sink rule set. Like they were like, yeah, like, hey, I have this random Forge World model. Sure, bring it. Like, oh, I have the entire Dark Angels First Company. Oh, yeah, sure, bring them. Like, it allowed you to do all like the crazy banana stuff that only like certain hobbyists want to do. But still, it was kind of neat. You're like one of them was you could do you could field a battle company. Yep. Like especially in battle company. So like, okay, I have an HQ squad of 10 and they're in a Rhino, or 6 and they're in a Razorback, and then I have 6 tactical squads in Rhinos, and I have 2
assault squads.
Yeah, 2 assault squads, and then I have a Devastator squad, and everything was mounted.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, that's nuts. Like that's super fun. And then you could also be like, oh, I also brought like 3 squads of First Company, so I have 3 Terminator squads. Like. It was nuts. It literally allowed you to run like full like spearhead detachment like type of armies, and it's pretty cool. It was kind of neat. But to answer Scott's the second half of the question, I think the reason it exists in 30k and 40k is so that like if you want to, you can. Yeah. Which for me is always like the best reason to have a rule. Like, oh hey, in case you want to do this, you guys can do this.
Here's a way you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. I'm here for it.
Yep. Exactly.
And again, it is very restrictive. Like if we're like, hey, we're playing a 2,000 point list, you basically can't
You're not putting a warlord on the table.
Yeah, I mean it's not possible. Like I guess theoretically you could run a Reaver.
It's just a different type of game though.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be carrying your Reaver into the store for a pickup game. Of 40K.
Right.
No, you gotta plan that. You gotta plan that stuff out.
Yeah, and the assumption is that you're being upfront with your opponent. Like, hey, I think it'd be fun. Do you want to play a Titan battle? Yeah, okay. I'll bring my 2 Warhounds and my Knight household. You bring your Reaver and your Warlord, and let's
let's see how long we last. Yep. We got Tabletop Test Drive. Hello, Tabletop Test Drive. What is this? And do you like miniatures?
That's Rick. He's messing with you. Yeah, it's Big Rick.
Messing with me? It sounded like a troll, and now you've just confirmed it.
Don't be the trolls.
Nice one. I'll just skip over anything that he says then. Jay says, yeah, Apocalypse games are good for once or twice a year. Yep, pretty much. They're
always fun, though. They're always fun, though. I always have a good time doing
them. And Chris has got to run. Have a good one, Chris. Hope the hockey goes well for you.
Nice. Keep your stick on the ice.
Keep your stick on the ice?
Keep your stick on the ice.
Okay. Bye-bye, Chris. Keep your stick on the ice. I'll learn eventually.
Yeah, you're fine. You'll get
I'm getting there. Nice.
We do like miniatures. Everybody does.
But I was going to say, I think I'm really hoping that they do plastic Thalax and Castellax.
Yeah.
And I feel that they're most likely because the Thalax and Castellax can be taken in Legion forces as well, in Space Marine Legions. So it would make most financial sense to have that going on.
Yeah, I was talking to my buddy Tim today, and like I don't think they need to make all the knights plastic. I think having the basically 4 or 5 you can make now is fine.
Sure.
But I do think that I think they should make all of the robots plastic.
I would love it if they did. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I just think it would be better. But like if you make the Ursarax plastic, they'd be great. I think people would run them more often.
I think you could probably do a dual kit of Thalax and Ursarax.
Yeah, that's true.
That'd be neat.
But yeah, the castle and battle automata. Yeah, I think if they were plastic, that'd be great. The Silax is kind of cool. They're like the weird flying ones, right?
Yeah, the hovering ones, yeah.
Yeah, but like the Thalax, I think the Thalax makes sense. Like the Myrmidons, okay, you could just use Skitarii. Like you don't have to like resculpt those. And between you and me, I just think I would do that. I don't think I would buy the forts.
Not for the Myrmidon. Myrmidons are bigger, but yeah, we've got some fun Myrmidon stuff coming up in the photos. But I know I mentioned I think it was last week or the week before, I talked about the my Ursarax.
Yep.
Being made from the Crypt Horrors. So.
Yeah, those are cool. I mean, because they're the right size.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And when I originally made them,
it is gross.
They had the creepy like clawed feet.
Yep.
And I said to some people like, it looks really bestial with those on there, like because you can paint it up like they're not as bestial.
Yep.
What should I do? And they're like, yeah, I'm not too fussed on those. Maybe you can go for a claw or something like that. But then I ended up with that crazy hoof kind of look.
Yeah, I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. What did you make the feet out of?
They're just out of I think it is out of just plastic tubing. And
it looks cool. Like it looks like he's got hooves. It's like metal like hooves.
Yep. So there's like that guy and this guy, and because they're the only models that I have like that,
yep,
I can say these 3 are Ursarax, and everyone goes okay. So they don't have big jump packs, but they move quickly, obviously.
Nice. Yeah, they look super cool, and like you did a great job with the heads. Like they look all really uniform because of it. It ties them all together.
Yeah, that's a fairly consistent thing across my Mechanicum force. But yeah.
So James is asking, how many of the units cross over into 40K? I'd say probably 30%.
Maybe.
Like, because a lot of it's going to be regular stuff like the Archmagos.
Yeah.
All the Archmagos are just tech priests, and there's like 5 of them. There's like 2 Dominuses. Like there's a bunch of named characters. In terms of the units,
The Tech Priest Auxiliary unit, which is basically it's a like Tech Priest or an Engineer and
like
Servitors.
The first 7 units are all essentially tech priests. The Domitar battle robots, probably not. I don't think you can use those.
Maybe
the
not
Mermaid
Servitors.
is basically bigger close combat,
Yeah.
like Skitari, but
Not really them.
the tech rolls are the same. The Thalax, the closest thing to the Thalax are probably the
Cataphrone.
tank tributes. Yeah, the Cataphrone battle servitors. Those are
breaches. Yeah.
they're close.
You
Like
could
those are
you could probably use Thalax as Cataphrons, but the I was gonna say the Tech Thralls are really your your Skitari. You could use your Skitari as Tech Thralls or Tech Thralls as Skitari.
The hover one you can't use. The Castellax is probably the Castellan robots.
Castellan,
the whole idea is the Castellan robots are supposed to be the 40K updated version of the Castellax. So the Triarios armored carrier, that's the big tank. That doesn't cross over.
Yeah, it's bigger, much bigger than the what do you call it? The boat.
Yep.
The June Strider, June Rider.
And like none of the fast attack stuff really works. There's like the jump pack dudes and the claw dudes, and then there's like the things that look like the Nurgle bloat drone.
The Voltrax could possibly work as a version of the flyer. I think the body's similar. The Archaeopter.
Oh yeah, I guess you could use that.
Possibly.
The heavy support ones, forget about it. The Thanator is like one of my favorite robots. I know Dave's got one somewhere, but like that thing is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like almost the size of like a Grey Knight Nemesis Dread Knight.
It's exactly the same size, yeah.
Okay.
So that one that is on the screen at the moment, down there,
same size.
basically I use that as a Thanator.
Yeah. So I mean maybe, and then you get into the Knights, like.
Yep.
Knight Megara is a forge-rolled model, but again, like you could convert it out of the plastic one if you wanted to.
Oh yeah.
The Styrex probably do the same thing. The only ones you really couldn't would be like the Acastus Knight is just too big. You couldn't do that. The Ordinator, the big like laser cannon on tank treads.
Yep.
That thing is just way too big.
Yep.
Yeah, but all the other knights, like all the Knight household stuff, you could use. So probably half.
Right.
Probably half. It's all the weirder stuff that you basically can't use.
Yep.
Yeah, I see these two clowns going back and forth about the dangers of using a Castellax.
Right. Yep. You have to go hunting for that model's pants. But anyway.
I mean, they look like they're going to be a fun army. I think they're a really good. They seem like they're leveraged really well. Like a lot of people were kind of nervous about how they're going to stack up against the Marines. You know, whether you're playing loyalists or heretics, like they're Marines and their stats are really good. Like, you know, what are you going to be able to do? But I think they pointed the Mechanicus stuff out pretty well. So I think you'll be able to make a list that's competitive and can hang with them. And, you know, you'll have some less expensive units like like you were saying, whatever the Skitari are called in this. Like you could use them to like fill stuff out.
The Tech Thralls.
Yeah, the Tech Thralls. Like the Tech Thralls would be really cool. And you could use a lot of your 40K stuff you currently have to be those. Tech Priests or Tech Priests, whether or not you want to put them in the floating throne thing or not, I think those would be fine. I think you could totally use stuff like the Cataphrons or like the Castellan robots if you didn't want to go all Forge World stuff. But I just think they'll be a fun army. Like for me, the big thing is because I'm playing Iron Warriors, I have the brothers keyword with the Mechanicus, so I'm just gonna run like a bunch of the robots or the bunch of the battle servitors in place of my troops because I like them. I think they'll be a nice addition for the army. But They'll be fun. And again, the fact that there's actual rules to run like Knights and Titans is awesome. So even if you were like, I want to run Solar Auxilla and take a Knight household, cool, you can do that. Like because the next book is supposed to be the Imperium book, which will have like supposedly Solar Auxilla, Imperial Army, all that sort of stuff. And then you could use the Knight households in this with that to run them. So that'll be kind of neat.
No, for sure. For sure. Just quickly, I know that you're asking about the, what do you call it? The Ambot? Whether the Ambot could be a Domitar. That's my conversion of the Ambot.
I love that guy. He's the best.
Yeah. So I use him as a breacher, Cataphren breacher in my Mechanicus army.
Now, what is he? He's like half as tall as a Domitar?
Yeah, Domitar is about this tall.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I do like
Definitely
that guy.
Can't use him for that. You couldn't even use it for a Castle Axe, but it is fun.
He's pretty cool. I do like that guy. Are people just as happy with Mechanicus Codus' new squads? I've heard nothing but good things about the rules. Maybe I'll be honest. Like, we have a pretty good heresy contingent at my shop, and from everything that I've heard, like our buddy Chris, who we're gonna see his Titan later on. I know Chris is really excited about the Mechanicus. I know a couple of other people who are playing them. I haven't heard anything bad about them. I think everybody's like excited about it. I don't know if they're as pumped as they are about the new squats, because it's been 20-something years since the squats have had a book. Whereas Mechanicus get a new one every time there's a new rule set. But no, it's definitely solid. I think it was smart of them to do this, because if you're an existing player and you have a Mechanicus army, you were like, oh well, I can't play. And now you can. Like, it's like, here's all the rules for your stuff. You guys can still use your robots. Like, you'll be good.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. I mean, it's definitely thinner. Like, this book is probably 60% the size of the Space Marine books.
About that. Oh, actually, no. About half.
Yeah, so it's like half. And it is a little bit cheaper. You're not paying the $70 whatever for the main one. You're paying like
50.
I think.
I think it's like 50. Yeah.
I think it's 50. But again, I mean, I can't knock their production value. Like, it's got like stitched spines, like library quality paper. It's got like the stitched ribbon for the bookmark in it. Yeah. Like, it's definitely a well-made book. And they look nice. The artwork in them is, again, stellar. Like, they always do a good job.
Oh yeah, there's some fantastic pieces in there.
There's one of my favorites is it's like the two. Yeah, this guy rules.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That guy's awesome. I was like, who doesn't love giant robots? But there's a super cool Warlord picture in here somewhere. I gotta find it.
That one's great too.
Yeah, I love the Thanatos.
The Thanatos is just such an awesome model.
Yeah, he looks like a giant robotic linebacker that someone strapped a missile to.
Yep.
And his giant pinchy hands.
Pinchy hands are best hands.
Yep.
But yeah, no, definitely cool.
The best part is in the back, like literally the very last page of the book. They have a, what is that? They have a War Griffins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have a Griffin's Warlord, and it's so big that they don't show his feet.
That's faded out. Yeah.
That's just faded out. They're like, oh, he's just way too big. We can't show his feet. Like, feet are weird.
Fade to black for sure. That's nice.
But no, that'll be a cool book.
But anyway, let's jump into some models. We'll have a look at some minis.
Jeff's talking about the apology. Does it come with an apology? I think not. Yeah.
No,
I'll be honest.
Let's not go into it. We don't need to worry about it.
I just think it was a bad idea. I think they should have just left the army alone. There was nothing wrong with it. It's a little overpointed, but like whatever. It's like every other new army that comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. You just got to learn to deal with it for sure.
Yep. It is fine. They are good.
If you want a good rant, go and check out Ash Barker's.
His was awesome. I 100% agree with him.
Me too.
I think Ash did a great job.
Okay, first one coming up is from Clay Williams. It is one of the Onager Dune crawlers. And I think possibly you could probably use an Onager Dune crawler as a Thanatar or vice versa.
Yeah, like a substitution. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, this looks wonderful.
That is a great job.
Yeah, Clay's done some great airbrush fades there. To get that really nice vibrant red to pop. I love me some super vibrant red on my Mechanicus. And the other thing that he's done is all of that undercarriage is in the like the sandy bone color. That's kind of straight from the GW color scheme from Mars. I tried to do that on my first one, and that is a pain in the butt to do.
Like the tan you're talking about, like the secondary color.
Yeah, under there.
I would just have to do that. I would just spray that probably like Wraithbone or white, and then I would hit it with the Skeleton Horde contrast paint, and you'd get a very similar kind of finish to that.
Yeah. I mean, that part isn't tough, but then it's the going through and picking out all of the silver detail.
Yeah, that's
It's just a lot of work. So in the end, I just painted my silver washes. Lots of different things, but the main part is the bright red bit at the top.
Yeah.
That's what people look at, and not a single person has said, "Hey,
you're like, hopefully nobody looked at the legs.
You didn't do the tan underneath." So, but no, Clay's done an excellent job there. Big fan of that one. Next up we have Jeff Smith's Belisarius Call. This model is insane. This is one that you've got to paint in sub-assemblies or you'll go crazy.
Yep.
And yeah.
I like his base, the black cloth tabletop.
I have a feeling that Jeff hasn't decided on his basing scheme yet.
Probably.
Or his Belisarius Call Walking the Stars. One book at a time.
This model is so busy.
Oh, yeah.
He's so busy. There's so much stuff going on this guy.
Yep. For sure.
It is great, though. Jeff did a great job with it. I will say, one of the hardest things about models like this, and whenever you do like tech dudes, is like there's so much going on that you have to figure out a way to pick it all out without making it distracting.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to make this guy just look like a fruit salad, and you're like, oh, there's like 900 colors on here. Like, what am I looking at? So it's really hard to keep it uniform, but also pick out all the detail and all like the little cool bits and all the nubbins that make him look super cool without getting distracted.
Yep. It's tough. You can't. It's an impossible. I feel it would be an impossible model to do that, to work through in a normal. Paint all of this, then paint all of that, then paint all of the next thing.
Yeah.
I don't think when I painted mine, I didn't do that. I had to break it into sections where I could just focus on this bit or this bit. I think I had him separated at the waist as well, so I had
it's just overwhelming otherwise.
Yeah, but Joe said he couldn't ship it with the base attached. Okay, there we go. So sub-assemblies, yep, definitely the way to go.
He's on an oval, right?
Yeah. It's the same size as a. No, it's not the same size as a knight. It's smaller than that. Might be Thanatar size. I'm not sure. I don't actually have him handy. He's up in the cabinet, just up there.
He's pretty cool though. It's a cool model.
He is gorgeous. Jeff, you done a great job there. Very nice.
Well done, Jeff.
One of the funny things as well is, so Belisarius Call, like rules-wise, like obviously he's the, well, not obviously, but he's the fabricator general, so he leads the Martian armies, that kind of thing. My whole Mechanicus is painted up as Mars, so I always run it as Mars. But I'm yet to field Belisarius Call.
He's pretty gross. Like I think I've played against him. I think I've played against him once.
Right.
And I was running my Blood Angels, and I think I was able to kill him, but like it was a task.
Yeah. He gives a lot. He definitely gives a lot of buffs, but I always prefer. We've talked about it before. I prefer the horde kind of approach.
Yeah.
So rather than spending all my points on that guy, I like to spread it around and pick 20 extra guys.
Yeah, I think the kid I was playing against was running like I think he was running like 2 units of Skitarii. Oh no, 2 units of the weird like sort of plate-headed pinchy guys.
Yep.
That were out like running around, and then he had, I want to say 2 or 3 units of Castellan robots that he kept buffing.
Oh yeah.
They could all shoot like a zillion times, and I was like, this is a nightmare.
Yeah. That's the how to lose friends list.
I was like, dude, like, again, the only thing that helped me was the fact that because I was playing Blood Angels, I was like, cool, you can shoot them at my Death Company, and he killed a bunch of them, and I was like, cool, and I got a bunch of them back, and I was like, all right, like, so that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
I think I finally had to kill him. I had to have Dante and a unit of Honor Guard like deep strike in.
Oh yeah.
And then, oh no, I didn't deep strike them. I had them jump in behind cover, and then I had them jump over the cover. So they jumped over the castle and robots and then charged him.
Yeah.
And he killed. I think he killed Dante in combat. I think they killed each other.
Yeah.
But like I was like, worth it, like just to get rid of him so he's not buffing those stupid robots. Like.
Yeah. No, he is super fierce.
Yeah, his rules are disgusting.
But next up, we have some Myrmidons from Pete Hairston. And these are very nice. So these are the Myrmidon Secutors, so the combat guys.
Yep.
And size-wise, they're about the same size. They're a little bit bulkier than Terminators.
Okay.
But amusing enough, I think in their rules, they don't have a 2+ save. They got a 3+. But
what are their? Do they have like extra arms?
They do. Yeah.
Okay.
They have an extra arm. No, what do they have? I can't remember. Let's.
Yeah, they all have 2 extra arms over their backs. It looks like.
Yeah.
You said they're what? They're Secutars?
These are the Secutars. So they have the Myrmidon Axe. Oh, they have the Maxima Bolters, the guns coming over their heads. But you can upgrade the bolters for Volkite chargers, graviton guns, Irad cleansers, and phase plasma fusils.
Gross.
But they are nice. They're toughness 5, 4 wounds.
Yeah, they're strength 5, toughness 5, 4 wounds.
4 wounds. The Myrmidon Axe, I think, adds 2 to their strength.
Yeah, I mean, they seem pretty good. They do seem kind of like slightly worse Terminators. Well, I guess they're probably a wash.
Yeah.
Because their strength is a point higher, but I'm willing to bet that their refractor field save is probably a 6 up.
No, refractor field's 5.
All right. Well, yeah, but again, if you're running like Justerin or something, they'd have a 4. So
yeah.
So.
But they come with built-in hatred everything, which is pretty sweet.
That's pretty good.
But yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see them being helpful.
They certainly are. They certainly are. But one of the things that I noted to Pete when he posted these in the group was that that's his Archmagos in the center there with the huge dome. So it's built off a regular Myrmidon body with I think it's a Silax sort of top as the head.
It's a cool model.
But it's using the Myrmidax order. So just like with consoles in a Space Marine list where you can make them Vigilators or
specialty classes.
Yeah, you've got all the special orders and what are the different? What's the list? Archimandrite, Cybernetica, Lacrimata, Macrotech, Malagra, Myrmidax, and Reductor.
So for those of you listening to us being like, what are they talking about? Basically, all of these weird made up proper nouns that are like pseudo Latin sounding are basically Games Workshop's version of specialty jobs. So think if you have a squad of troops and you're like, we have a medic and we have a cook and we have a chaplain and we have like a mechanic. Like that's what those are. It's guys that are good at a thing. So
sure.
Each one of those like gives them a thing. You're like, oh well, this guy's a Simtilax. You're like, what does he do? He's really good at cooking. He's the cook in the squad. Oh, awesome. So that's basically all they are. They all have that. They're just like made up, proper nouns.
Yeah. Although the Myrmidax there is
I'm assuming he's like a champion warrior because Myrmidon is from the Greek.
Basically,
the Myrmidon, which is warrior.
He's a champion warrior. So as well, so the Myrmidex, you can have a single Thanatar siege automaton mountable unit consisting of a single model, may be taken as a non-compulsory HQ choice.
Cool.
Which is pretty neat. While wholly within 6 inches of a Thanatar Calyx taken as an HQ choice in this way, friendly Myrmidon Secutor hosts and Myrmidon Destructor hosts gain the line unit subtype. So great for holding objectives. And add +1 to the wound score used to determine if they win a combat in the assault phase.
Kind of cool. So he effectively makes them stubborn. He gives them like a stubborn benefit where like it's harder to move them and.
Well, if they tie, they're going to win.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
The Myrmidon Secutor host in a detachment that includes a model with this special rule may be taken as troops choices, and Destructor hosts may be taken as elites instead of heavy.
Okay.
And the Vessel of Destruction gains the Hatred, Everything, and Bulky 3 special rule and increases his wounds to 5. So, it's pretty fierce.
3 hit points.
Yep. It's funny, because I do like rules when I understand them, but when I first read through them, I generally don't understand them, and that's usually how I pick the way that I like which of those autos I'm going to take. Is I'll start to read them, and if I can't make it through the first paragraph without my brain like wanting to melt, then I move on to the next one.
Yeah, same way. Like a lot of times, it's not that. A lot of times, some of the way that they write the rules, and because they put in their own proper nouns, it's just needlessly confusing.
Yep.
But I also understand that from a rule standpoint, you have to do it that way because you can't just have it say if he's within 6 inches of a unit, and then you're like, oh, so it's him, and if it's any unit, and you're like, no, it's if he's this specific guy, and if he's near these specific guys, he does the thing. So.
Yeah. No, exactly. But the Myrmidex was one of the only ones that I was able to get all the way through. So I'm probably going to make a new one for this army to go with my Mechanicum army.
Your Myrmidons
and do the Myrmidex. So thank you, Pete, for that. But yeah, these are looking cool, and I love of course the Gamer's Rust alien tufts.
Yeah, the alien tufts are always great.
Yeah. Okay, Phil, amniotically tanked, has posted his Thanatar stand-in. So this is a conversion that he did from... The legs are from Dune Crawler. Known as a Dune Crawler. The body is from a...
Blight drone.
Is it Blight drone? Yeah.
Well, it could be a Blight drone, or it's the Vulture Axe from Forge World, which I'm assuming it's not what that is.
I don't think it is. What's the crawler thing?
The Onager?
No, for
Blight Hauler.
Blight Hauler, that's it. Yeah, I think it might be a Blight Hauler.
The Demon Lawnmower?
Yeah. But, yeah, it is super cool. And those 2 rocket pods, I think, are Forge World rocket pods. But, yeah, he uses this as his Thanatar stand-in.
Nice.
And this is one of the things I love about the Mechanicus and the Mechanicum, is that they're not particularly keen on standardizing things for their own material. They're they're very keen on just creating all of the tech priests and the archmages and that sort of thing are all keen on creating their own best of kind of thing.
It is interesting seeing Mechanica stuff in green.
Oh yeah. That's a very cool candy green as well. So great, shiny gloss to it. But yeah, it's nice.
That guy, it's solid.
But yeah, he looks awesome, Phil. Very cool.
He's got lots of cool little details on him too, like all the white edging and stuff, like the script work on him.
Yeah. No, it's definitely neat. And so seeing this made me think of a model that I made a while ago. I was challenged to make it by the folks at Beasts of War, and it was taking the Venom Crawler, so the Chaos Space Marine Venom Crawler, and turning it into a Mechanicus piece. So rather than it being like a dark Mechanicus piece, So I have brought it back into the Imperial fold.
Nice.
So,
as it should be.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, what would it be? What would I have it as? What could it work as? And bulk wise, it's kind of similar to the armigers. So
okay, all right. A multi-melt on it, and then an actual a melta-lance.
Yeah. Oh, so there's a melter on the side. So it's basically like you'd have whatever the big melter cannon thing they have is then a regular melter gun, and normally it's got a chainsword, but in this case it's got lots of sharp whippy arms.
And they're cool. I like that they're up on like the weird like girders too. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to do that so that it's got the height, so that
of an arm.
That's only one actually. It's just I took 2 photos of it and stuck them next to each other. But
that's too, you usually run armigers in pairs.
Yeah, it was just there was a lot of conversion work for that one, so I didn't want to go to the pain of the second one.
The cog mohawk is really cool too.
Yeah, that was fun. I was removing basically took off the entire mohawk from the previous one, which has got lots of points, lots of spikes, and made that fresh. But yeah, it's the same height as an armiger as well, so it has that same profile. And
that is super cool.
Sort of claim that I was modeling for advantage.
Well done, Dave.
But,
well done.
But that was a lot of fun to mess around with. Sorry, just before it disappears, Scott said phase plasma fusels in the 40-watt range. Wow. I think that every time I read phase plasma fusels, I think that. But yeah.
Did you add the gold like bulb on the left side?
Well, basically it has. It already has 2 sort of areas that are kind of bulbs that are kind of bulges or the discs or something like that. So yeah, that one on the left there is or on the right of the screen, I guess, on the left of the model. That's still on the right of the model as it's facing forward. Yeah, so I added the cog sort of aspect to it.
It's definitely cool. I like it. It looks good.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun messing around with that. What is next? Oh, next up, we have a Magus. This is from your buddy. You sent it to me at the last minute.
Yeah, Mike. So I just went back and I checked the text. I can't figure out if this is his or if he said this is one that looks just like his. But he said that he feels like this kind of like does all the stuff that you kind of imagine Mechanicus stuff to be. And I'll read this so I don't misquote Mike, but so I think this captures the Mechanicus to a T. It has the Baroque features with like one human hand. But it captures the singular ambition of the abhorrence for flesh that makes the faction so grimdark. If I can continue to wax ridiculous, I think that this is like having the Leagues of Votan now clearly demonstrates that the dark trajectory of the Mechanicus even more. I think the Leagues of Votan have sentient machines living in relative harmony, and the Votan level down to the squad level. The Mechanicus bend the prohibition against sentient machines through the use of human brain tissue about as far as you can use it and go that way, while at the same time creating something that's this deeply religious relationship with the technology. I think it's GW 40K at its finest.
Oh yeah, yep, I would absolutely agree.
Did you know? So cool thing to note about this particular model.
Yep.
This was the last model that Games Workshop designed in the traditional way.
Oh, okay.
With like green stuff and the scale up and all that stuff, and then making the chew ups and making your adjustments and then making the scale. Like after this model, they did all digital.
Everything is digital after this.
Yep. This is the last model that was designed traditionally.
So I guess like as this one was being made, that so much of the stuff would have been digital at the time. But yeah,
he is a great mini though.
It is fantastic. I think in my list I didn't use this head, but this one it's
the Bishop hat one. You used the hooded one.
Yeah, yep. But this one works perfectly in the in that white color scheme. It just looks super cool.
Super cool. He has like the weird spider legs. It's such a weird mini too because he's almost curved forward like an insect. Like his body's all forward and like his legs are coming out underneath him.
Yep. So just quickly, Phil said, love that conversion, Dave. I was worried about using the Venom Crawler due to the fleshy bits, but it's not really that obvious. It's a little bit more obvious from the back, but at the same time, I'm just suggesting that this was originally a either a servitor, possibly a couple of servitors, that were grown in flesh vats somewhere. You got to have that. You got to have that element of fleshy bit to make it okay.
JP's like, he says your modeling is modeling for advantage.
Oh, nice. Thank you, JP. Thank you,
Nice. Scott wants to know if that was a text. Performance of the Flesh was probably picked up by the NSA. I have. Mike is probably in good shape. I think he's probably fine.
Probably fine. Cool. Okay, and I think this might be the last one from the group. Well, it didn't come through the group. This is Chris's photo. Chris Koenig. So what I did here was I got a long photo like this, so I cut it in half and moved it up to the side. But this is his Warlord Titan and some of his Mechanicus forces. But so this is Legio Astorum, the Warp Runners.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, this looks really cool. I love the.
Yeah, he got a accommodation thing at Adepticon for the Warlord, and that is not Titanicus. That is an actual full-size 40K Warlord.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I did see this. There's a commended entry in Golden Demon. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, I saw this in person.
Yeah, he did a really good job with it. That thing is like the size of a toddler.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely super cool. And I love the smashing through the sandbag walls.
Yeah.
Down in the base.
The base is really cool. He did a lot of work on the base, which, I mean, you kind of have to with a model that's this size. It's like he's standing on a giant serving platter. It's like this.
Yeah.
You can't be like, I painted it goblin green, we're all set. Like,
yeah.
No, he looks really cool. I think the coolest thing about it, like, too, is because the way he matches his forces, having a blue and yellow Mechanicus force is really like unique looking. Because I was like, usually it's all red or orange or white. Like it's never blue and yellow. So
yep. Yeah, no,
but they're all they're like the house troops for the Warp Runners.
Yep. The Secretary. Yeah, they look cool. It looks fantastic, Chris. Absolutely awesome. As I said, yeah.
And he's got two of the boats too, the Higgins boats.
Yeah, well, there's one is the Dune Rider, which is the Higgins boat, and the other one is the Scorpius.
Yep.
But,
they're super cool. But yeah, the Warlord itself is great. Like he did such a good job with like the weathering process and like the bronzes and the washes he has on the metals look great. Like at the very bottom of like his sort of shin plates.
Yep.
It's like all damaged by like small arms fire and fire. That's why they're all like discolored and stuff.
Switched up. Yep.
It's such a cool kit.
Yeah, looks great.
That thing is daunting.
It's insane. Absolutely insane. But yeah, no, thanks very much, Chris. That looks awesome. Very cool. Next up, so then we're going to move on to a few of my bits and pieces. Rather than holding everything up to the camera like that, I thought maybe I should put some photos in.
No, I like that.
So I snapped some photos today. So the first one we've got is the Dread Knight conversion.
That thing is great.
So this was done in early 2013 when there was talk of knights, of the Imperial Knights, but there were no plastic models at all on the horizon, and the army list wasn't sort of being talked about. But so yeah, I just wanted to make a crazy version for my Mechanicus.
Is that the Punisher off the Lehman Russ?
No. No, I think it's the Gatling off the Dread Knight.
Oh, right. I forgot they can have a Gatling gun.
Yeah, most people go with the Psy Cannon, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that. But the he does have you can't see it in this pic, but there's like a belt feed coming off the side there. Yeah, so like it's an armored feed, and it comes back and goes up into two big barrels that he's got on his back.
Nice.
So big ammo hoppers there. And yeah, I built that out with plasticard and then covered it in a thin layer of green stuff to get be able to push in the kind of the hammered kind of look. And gave the little crenellations on the top of the knee pads. Give that sort of cog kind of feel.
Oh, nice.
But
I like that he's basically carrying like a telephone pole that he like ripped down. He's like, I'm going to electrocute you with this.
Yeah. Yep.
This street lamp is coming with me.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it does look like that because that's
no, I love
what it was.
I love it.
That's what it was. But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun working on that and got to do that really nice sort of coppery bronze sort of feel on the.
Yeah,
on the thing.
it looks like metal. Like you're like, oh, this thing must weigh a ton.
Yeah, yeah, it does feel super solid. But yeah, so I think I've used that twice in a game. But I use it.
And you just run it as a knight.
No, I run it as a well, I've used it since the first round of Mechanicus forces, and I think I used it as a Thanatar.
Okay.
Like the Thanatar Calyx, which is the
siege
one. Yeah. And again, it's one of those things where it doesn't have to be exactly like you don't have to have the exact representation. It doesn't have to be WYSIWYG.
You do.
Well,
that's why WYSIWYG's a rule, Dave.
When it's the only thing that like that it could be, it's the same size and shape and base size.
Is the Carnifex behind the Coke bottle? The Carnifex is the Coke bottle.
Thank you, signals on a turn turn signals on a Land Raider. Okay, that's where that's from, right? That's where that's from. Yeah. Yep.
I love it.
So yes. Anyway, moving right along. But yeah, it's one of those things. I definitely feel that as long as it's clear. I mean, you don't want to have that and then have something that you've converted out of something else with completely different loadout, and then say, "Oh, these two things are the same thing."
Right.
You don't want to do that. If you want to have the second of the same thing, you make it look like the same thing.
Sure.
But when it's the only thing. Next up, I got a collection of my my Magoses. So these are ones that I built at different times for my Mechanicum army. So these are all my Mechanicum ones. And they're all built just for fun. There's no sense of whether the model can actually have those things. But yeah, like
that gross one up the top riding the fat baby is disgusting. I love it.
That's based on a piece of John Blanche artwork.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it's sorry.
I can't remember which edition of 40k it was in the rules for, but yeah, it's just a spectacular piece of John Blanche madness.
Dude, his stuff, you're always like, is it weird? Is it creepy? Is it kind of cool? It's John Blanche.
Yep. But no, it's exactly taken off that. It is a floating sort of crazy thing with a oversized baby head. In this case, it's an ogre head. But...
Is that the one on the far left?
Yep.
Looks like the tank itself looks like it's made out of the turret part of the onager.
Right. No. The
No, is it a Sentinel?
It's smaller. Yeah. It's much smaller. That's actually a Grot tank.
Okay.
From the Forge World Grot tanks. It's one of those, but with plasticard added over the top of some of the plates and everything. Yeah. Grot and Orky sort of trimmed off.
And then it's got the
where it would normally have a turret, it's got a I think it's made out of a Terminator kind of body, but yeah, it's got the basically quad autocannons.
Those are super
It's just
cool.
a-
I converted a Hydra using, because those are the Imperial Guard like weapon platform guns. Is what those are. Those are the
yeah,
auto.
you're right. They are. Yep.
Before they had a model for it, I took a, what was it? I took a Chimera. Yeah, I took a Chimera and I converted it into a Hydra
Okay.
by taking 4 of those and putting a little turret on it.
Yeah. Nice.
And I was like, oh, it came out pretty cool. They're a little too short because they're not the long barrel autocannons, but it looked cool. I was like, that's basically all it should be.
It's close air support. Yeah.
Yeah, they look great. And then the second guy looks like he's made out of a Crypt Ghoul or a Banshee. No, it's not a Banshee.
It's the
It's the Karn Wraith.
yeah, it's the Wraith.
Floating Karn Wraith looks like. That's pretty, and you gave him like a snake tail body. That's kind of cool.
Yep.
I like the guy who's like a pseudo slug body with his giant claw arms and his one like drink tube.
Yeah.
He's got his pocket full of ecto cooler and he's like drinking his ecto cooler.
Pretty much. Yep. That's exactly how that's working. But yeah, he's one of the Nurgle. He's a Forge World model again. The Nurgle priest.
Okay.
But yeah, so the arms are different, but the head has that that cowl. Over it, the hood. But yeah, and I think the weapons on the right hand side are from the Dark Eldar Talos, which is the main body. That's the body structure for the floating guy up the top. Even though I've got a knight here that I'll show in a sec, but that's on like a special edition base that he did for knights. But yeah, I love those.
JP wrote, last time he played 40K, kid had all AOBR. I don't know what that is.
Dreads and wasn't hadn't WYSIWYG assault cannons. Wasn't too thrilled as everything had multi-melters still.
Oof. Yeah, that's.
It's. I mean, if it's a case of everything is armed with the model has multi-melters on all of them. And you say, oh, this one is an assault cannon and this one is a multi-melter, that's terrible. That's a terrible thing to do. If you say they're all assault cannons,
sure,
I'm fine with that. But as soon as you start mixing, terrible. Yep. Terrible etiquette. But yeah, one of my favorite ones, though, is the guy at the back to the right, who's on a, I think I made him from an Empire wizard.
I'm going to make this bigger so I can guess what that is. Oh, yeah. I see it.
Plastic Empire Wizards. But he's on a spider.
Okay.
Kind of a more a Necron kind of construct.
Yeah, it's one of the Necron walkers.
Yeah.
It looks like you made out of like a Canoptic Wraith, I think. Canoptic Wraith body.
Yeah, it could be something like that. But yeah. So I just wanted something, again, that connected that alien technology with the Mechanicum. Next up... Oh, here we go. Okay, so next up, these are my Myrmidon Destructors. So these ones are straight from the Forge World kit. And they have pinchy hands and heavy weapons.
I mean, pinchy hands is what's up.
Pinchy hands for sure. But yeah, these 3 weapons. I think the one on the right is a conversion beamer.
Yeah, the one in the middle is a Volkite, looks like.
Yeah, Volkite Culverin.
And then the one on the left, I don't know what the hell that is.
Yep. I'm not sure either. I think it's an irradiation engine.
Okay.
Or a graviton imploder.
You're sure?
But they come standard with Volkite. Sorry, in the list they come standard with Volkite Culverins, but you can upgrade that to either a conversion beam, a graviton imploder, dark fire cannon, or a radiation engine.
It definitely could be a sonic screwdriver. JP says
it could be. It could be. But the pinchy hands are shock charges. So
okay,
which is pretty neat. And they come with relentless and stubborn, so you can move them around, walk them around, and
always shoot, which is great.
Yep. which is definitely cool.
And you can technically shoot and charge with them.
Yep. So
Relentless is such a great rule.
pretty sweet. But yeah, so I had that is an official unit, but these guys again, my love of converting. These are my Myrmidon Secutors that I converted out of Terminators.
And those are the close combat ones, right?
Yep. Yep. So I made these. I think I made these out of the Dark Angel Deathwing Knights.
Yep, I can see that.
Yep. So all the hooded heads.
Dude, you did an awesome job with the green stuff. You made it look like they have like metal toes.
Oh yeah, yep. I think I might have cut those from like chunks of sprue, actually. But yeah, if we
You just like sawed off their toes and then swapped them out.
Yep. So if, just quickly, if we go back to the Destructors, you can see they have that kind of toe look there. So yeah, I just wanted to match that up.
Yeah, they look cool.
It was pretty easy. That was one of the easier things to do.
Dude, I'll be honest. Yours look better.
They're a little bit thinner, so I suppose that it works okay now for the 3+ save, but I do like them. These guys can have they come with the Myrmidon axe and the Secutor, the Maximus bolters, but you can replace the bolters with Volkite chargers. So
Right.
I think these ones have actually used Volkite calivers, which I think was what they might have they used to be.
Yeah, it looks like they have twin-linked Volkite calibers, and then the guy in the middle has a graviton weapon, and he has a meltagun.
Yep.
I think not only did you do a great job with these in terms of like them like just looking super cool, but the fact that you split the cog, so one of them has the skull half, one of them has the Omnissiah robot skull half.
Yep.
And then they're very Khador looking with the giant like smokestacks out of their back and like the red robes.
Yep. Well, those big things on the back also again match with the Myrmidon Destructor
The other ones.
models.
Again, yours look better. Yours are better executed.
But these ones as well. I don't know if you can just along like the edge where the skull is.
Yep.
There's a little sort of nub out the side.
So you can put it
where the
together.
skull is. Yeah, and the other one has two there as well. Yeah, they would slide together, and you put them together in front of the Secutor Lord, of course.
Yep.
So that you can be protected and fire over the top. So they have two. Oh, actually, here we go. I knew I put this in for a reason.
Built-in lookout, sir.
No, I thought I'd give you a photo of the back of them, so you can see that as well. They've all got tails of like mechadendrites and hoses and tubes and stuff like that.
Nice.
But the yeah, you can see the extra arm that comes out from their shoulder that holds the shield. A little bit of I think that they might have come from a Necron at some point. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing those. So now I think I've been inspired by Pete's Myrmidons and the Myrmid Axe and that kind of thing. So I might have to do another couple of squads, do a whole Myrmidon force.
Be kind of good.
I think it'd be neat.
I think it'd be neat.
It would be fun, you know.
You know, if you're into that sort of thing.
If you're into messing around with like little robots as well as big robots.
Is that it, or we got anything else?
No. So that's it as far as minis from the group. Mechanicum. We've talked a lot about it. I think I obviously think they're a fantastic army. I couldn't tell you how they play, really. I just play them and stuff happens. But
So it seems to me like their default is, for anybody who's played like 40K, their default is they're gonna play like a guard list
okay,
that's really shooty.
right.
Like they're just because they're not designed to be super close combat-y. Like they tweaked that in this. Like you've got because I remember when they got the Ursa Racks,
Yep.
like the bear robots that I was like, oh, they have close combat stuff. And then now with them adding like the Myrmidons and like the Myrmidax, like they're getting more like fighty stuff, which makes sense because this edition of Heresy is very close combat focused.
Yeah.
So you have to have that. So I think they'll be fine. And then like most of their stuff has like the equivalent of like power fists and like dreadnought combat weapons. So like they're gonna be gross. They're gonna hit hard. So I think they'll be fun. And I think you can buff a lot of stuff too with a lot of the different tech priest flavors. They all do different things. So
Right. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting that you can have a lot of sort of tech priests that you can sprinkle through your army. If you take so there's the tech priest auxilia cohort, which is a bit like kind of like the apothecarian detachment, where you can have multiples and you split them up amongst your force. But yeah, you're right. I think they do have those sort of big punchy bits, but that comes at the cost of not having as many of them as you might like.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I think a lot of their stuff is also going to be pretty good at doing like bigger, better Space Marine stuff. Like the regular Domitar, like
Right.
Domitars are awesome. They're essentially Terminators. Like they're gonna wander around the board. They can take a decent amount of punishment. They hit really hard. They can still shoot.
Yep. Did you mean dreadnoughts? They're like dreadnoughts.
Yeah. Sorry. They're like slightly worse dreadnoughts. But you get more of them because it's like, oh, instead of having a dreadnought, I have 3 Domitars.
The maniple of 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they'll be fun. I think they'll be a good list. I haven't seen them on the table in this edition yet. I mean, obviously the book's been out for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks or something. But I'm sure that they'll be good. They seem like they're leveraged pretty well. So
Yeah. No, I think they'll be exciting.
do we got anything else? Well, this has been a pretty good show. We're at an hour and 40 minutes. So
We are, yeah. So we probably should wrap it up then. Yeah. We almost got it to the hour and 30, which is where we've been hitting most of the time.
that's crazy. 2 shows in a row.
Yeah. But yes, okay, so to wrap things up, I would just let you know if you enjoyed tonight's show, please hit like, or is it smash like? Smash like, smash subscribe, put a comment down below, all those sort of fun things. It helps the algorithm so that we can spread the message and the word and have more people come and have a look at our ramblings and
Absolutely.
that kind of thing. And hopefully at some point we can spread some cool ideas and have some people inspired to do their own cool, exciting stuff. But yes, so again, like, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
if you want to join our Facebook group, let me know. Put in the comments below, and I'll post a link in there. When I set up the Facebook group, I set it up as a private group. Which apparently makes it incredibly difficult for people to find and ask to join.
We changed that?
No, unfortunately you can't. Once it's private,
What?
Yeah. Facebook, well, maybe in 2 weeks' time, Facebook will change their mind again, and groups will all be open, and it goes,
Sure.
they go back and forth. It's kind of super annoying. But anyway, you can shoot me a message on Facebook at Dave Taylor Miniatures, my Dave Taylor Miniatures Facebook page, or on Instagram or any of that sort of stuff. But yep, we will get you into the group so you can be posting as well. Keeps out the ads and the attendance silliness. This is true. It does keep out the
Worth it.
the crazy spam. But thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Thanks, Jay. I think it's been a great show. But yeah, that's it. So
If you get us ready, I'll do the wrap up. What do we want to do? What do we want to do for next week?
will we do the competitive painting thing?
Yeah, we'll do competitive painting.
Okay, and you'll get to see some spicy dialogue between myself and Jake.
100%. That'll be fine.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be good. We'll do that one. All right, so we're gonna do competitive painting next week.
Yep.
And I know we get a bunch of guys who are like top flight painters here. So, but I think the big thing would be send us in pictures of like models you think are your favorites. Like
Yeah.
Stuff that has won previous Golden Demons or other painting competitions. Like, just send in kind of like your tops. Like, this one is great. This one was great. Tell us why you liked it. And Dave and I will kind of talk about those. Dave and I are really looking forward to what he's alluding to is we're really looking forward to kind of picking apart certain minis that obviously these are people that already won awards. So who cares what we think? But I'm curious to see like how that goes down. So that should be fun.
It's about more about judging styles, I guess. Is
Sure.
the thing, and we can have a good discussion on that, which will be fun. But yes, so yeah, your favorite model that you've entered in a competition, whether it won anything or not, we don't care. But
Or even somebody's model that you saw in a competition, you were like, "That's the coolest model I've ever seen."
yep. But make sure you note that when you post.
Yeah, for sure. Like David Soper, for example, is one of my favorites. I always think his models look amazing. But yeah, we can definitely do that. But thank you guys so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time. As I've been Jake,
I've been Dave.
and build, paint, play.
Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.